I was shocked when I saw this second scan. If I showed you this at the beginning, would you have like believed that this was possible?
Hey, my name is Leif Arneson. Right now, I'm challenging myself to build as much lean vegan muscle as possible in 90 days. And I already have some really exciting progress to share with you. I would have been over the moon with half of these results. In this second episode, I'm taking you behind the scenes to show you exactly what I'm eating on a daily basis to gain lean vegan muscle while also prioritizing my health. You'll also see how I adjust my nutrition plan when life gets in the way or when cravings hit, like vegan sushi. If you haven't already watched episode 1, that gives you a lot of backstory about my goals and my journey, so be sure to check that out as well. All right, let's dive into episode 2. So the trick to making the perfect protein shakes without adding too many calories, I use 2/3 water and then I shake it up with the protein, and then I finish it off with some soy milk. I've got some pre-workout and then a protein shake. I have this as I'm heading to the gym, and I have this throughout my workout. So good workout, loved all these movements, and I really love the structure of this workout as well. So shout out to my coach Daniel for just creating a super awesome workout structure. I've also been feeling on the edge of getting sick for the last week, and it's kind of come and gone, but I'm trying to recover really well and fuel my body with the right nutrition and sleep well and all of that. So gonna head home and get that done as well. So for my breakfast/lunch, I eat a really big meal after my workouts. I've got some of this tofurkey chicken, which is really great. It is absolutely delicious when you air fry it. I'm gonna have half of this now and then half of this later in the day. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it in half. Now, this is obviously not a whole food. It also has some oil actually added to this, which is not something I normally have. When I'm bulking, it's difficult for me to get in enough calories. So I incorporate some things like mock meats, and probably be experimenting with swapping this with tofu and just doing some kind of teriyaki tofu or something like that over rice. When I am bulking or when I'm shredding, it's important to me that I'm enjoying what I'm eating. So I need something that actually tastes really good. It's also really easy. You just kind of squeeze this out of the package. Pretty well broken up. 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 5 minutes. Could be 6 minutes if you want it to be a little crunchier, a little crispier. Now we're gonna jump over to make the smoothie. Famous go-to Leif smoothie. Gonna weigh this out. That's really important when you have a very strict goal in mind, or like a clear set goal. The more things you track, the less variables you need to wonder about. If I just kind of throw random food in there and say, yeah, it's about that, or it's about this much protein, about that many calories, then I'm not really gonna know. If I'm not seeing the results that I wanna see, I don't really know actually what is causing that if I'm not tracking things. When I'm doing a set kind of clear goal like this bulking phase, I'm gonna track. I keep baby spinach right in the freezer. We're gonna do 60 grams of this. It's so great for smoothies. It lasts a really long time. You don't need to worry about spinach going bad. Next we got blueberries. Gonna be 240 grams. 475 grams of mango. It's over a pound of mango. Lastly, we have some frozen pineapple, 165 grams. So I really love the taste of ginger, so it's partially for flavor, but it's also for the health properties that ginger has. So it's just a little piece of ginger like that. We're gonna be using about half a gallon of water, 1,600 grams of water. So this is a protein powder that I love to use in this smoothie. The flavor is toasted coconut, and this is from True Nutrition. I generally really love True Nutrition products. I think they make really good, inexpensive bulk protein powders, and they have a bunch of different vegan protein powder options. So we got some flaxseed for primarily for ALA, and we also have some wheat germ, which is another food that Dr. Greger recommends in his book, How Not to Age. So it's really beneficial for general health. I'm going to grab a tablespoon of both of these. If you are relying on flaxseed or chia seed for your omega-3s, the conversion rates from the omega-3 ALA to the omega-3s EPA and DHA are quite low, especially for men. So you're going to need to consume quite a bit of ground flaxseed. It would be several tablespoons based on some kind of back of the envelope calculations that I've done. So that's a lot, which is just another reason that I'd like to supplement with omega-3s. So that's it. That's my famous half-gallon smoothie. One of my most prized possessions is a massive mason jar that I use for my smoothies. So I'll fill this one up, and then I also fill this one up, and this is kind of something that I have as a snack just later in the day. So I've literally made this smoothie hundreds of times. That's how dialed in we are. I really love pairing sweet and savory. So we've got some white rice. Yeah, brown rice has more nutrition than white rice, but white rice has less fiber, and again, I'm just trying to be really conscious of my fiber intake for this bulking period. 300 grams. So I've got a scale here. So it's not as much of an issue to just kind of grab a handful of something like spinach and throw it into a meal because it has such a low calorie density. It's not really going to have a huge impact on your calories. We're trying to keep the meal plan really low sodium, and we're looking for some kind of salt alternatives. It's not low sodium, it's 0 sodium, which is pretty nice. So this is Benson's Table Tasty. We got 1 teaspoon of this. It is delicious. This is the tofurkey after we put it through the air fryer. The savory part, and we got the sweet part. And this is packed with nutrition. We got so many vitamins and minerals in here. I'm gonna grab some walnuts and then also grab my supplements, and that is my meal. I want to do this as healthfully as possible. So as an example, I'm going to be prioritizing whole plant foods in my nutrition program. Now, we kind of need to balance that with my fiber intake and just general volume of foods, because I need to be sure that I'm eating enough total calories and also not like crapping my pants every 3 hours. So you kind of need to balance both of those. What are your thoughts about bulking with more of a whole food focus?
So it is absolutely possible. And I do think there are certain benefits to going whole food plant-based. You're certainly going to get a lot more vitamins, minerals, a lot of micronutrients. That is going to be great. We might run into issues on digestion, but there are ways to get around that. We do have little tricks up our sleeve that we can employ. The easiest one that springs to mind is just increasing your fat content, but that of course depends on your digestion, etc., and depending on how you progress. But there are certainly many ways of getting to the goal, but I think a holistic or whole food approach is a really great approach regardless. We have a ton of clients that do want to take that approach, so it has been done.
I could throw in like a few cups of lentils or something instead of having the tofurkey, but I'm going to run into some issues. Okay, 73 grams of dietary fiber. That's like a good range for me, and if I swap some of these protein sources like tofurkey out with something that's more whole food, I'm gonna go over 100 grams of fiber, which is just way too much. I've tried that and it doesn't work.
We ended off with around 3,300 calories, and geez, your macro split is going to be around 530 grams of carbohydrates, of which 73 grams is fiber. We're looking at 71 grams of fats, of which only 7 grams are saturated, 0 cholesterol, and 0.1 grams is trans fat. So as far as healthy fats go, that is really, really good. And your protein for the day, just shy of 200, coming in at 192.8.
Lots of people would look at 190 grams of protein and say, wow, that's way more than your body needs. What are your thoughts about protein intake?
Yeah, it is more than your body needs because you're trying to build body that isn't there yet. Plus, we have to take into consideration you're going to need to be training with a ton of resistance. Every week, you're going to be asking more and more of your muscle. You're going to add load, you're going to add reps. And so your muscles need to stay nitrogen positive in order for them to grow. And so we need to put in more protein that is actually currently needed to make sure we remain in a positive nitrogen state. And depending on your age, depending on your activity level, depending on whether or not you're trying to gain weight or lose weight, that will dictate how much protein you need. And for you, based on everything that I've just mentioned and based on your goals, we're looking at 190 grams.
Awesome. Sounds good. These are my daily kind of longevity and health supplements. I want to make sure that every morning I get in the supplements that I want to be taking, and I do that consistently on a daily basis without fail. And these are cool because they have one on the top and one on the bottom. So what I do, whoops, just lost a little powder. So what I do is I put all of these powders in the top, and then I put my supplements in the bottom, omega-3s and my multivitamins. So these supplements are supplements that Dr. Greger recommends in his book, How Not to Age. So they're more kind of longevity focused, but just really good for general health. These are the 4 that I have a 1/4 teaspoon of. And then I've got some mushroom powder as well, which I have 1.5 teaspoons of. It's gonna save some time to just go through and do that ahead. It's kind of like meal prep, supplement prep. All right, very easy. Oh, and don't do that. So the reason that we're using turmeric is it is the most powerful anti-inflammatory in the world. So next up we have papali or Piperlongumine. I actually think you can kind of use all those interchangeably. So this is a senolytic compound that eliminates senescent cells, which are one of the hallmarks of aging. So this is really helpful for ensuring that we stay healthy and avoid diseases such as cancers. So this compound can increase the absorption of turmeric by up to 2,000%. Black pepper does it as well, but long pepper powder does that too. So black cumin powder is a spice that's traditionally used in Middle Eastern cuisines, and it boosts AMPK considerably. And the enzyme AMPK activates autophagy, which is really helpful for promoting longevity. So amla powder is a dried Indian gooseberry fruit, and it is the most potent antioxidant whole food in the world. Oh, there's my teaspoon. I lose teaspoons all the time. I'll just leave them in the bag. All right, so we're gonna do 1.5 teaspoons of this mushroom powder. Now you can just eat mushrooms. Dr. Greger would be very proud of you for eating mushrooms, but I cannot stand the taste of mushrooms. So I just swallow it in a powder form. So I wanna do 1.5 teaspoons. All right, time for supplements. So I use a whole food multivitamin. I've got the Garden of Life vitamin code for men. There's also a version for women. And then I've got some omega-3s. So this is algae oil, and it's got DHA and EPA in it, which is typically difficult to convert from ALA. So even though I do consume whole food sources of ALA, just to be safe, I do incorporate some preformed EPA and DHA into my diet. So the serving size is 2 of these little soft gels, but I've been using 3 because my omega-3 numbers were a little low or a little below optimal in my most recent blood test. I was still in a good normal range, but I want to increase it a little bit. And then the whole food multivitamin. I pretty much just use this as an insurance policy. There are a few vitamins that you need to be conscious of not going overboard with, but as long as you're tracking that, it's totally fine. This is definitely not something you need. You can do this all with your nutrition, but I just like having, I kind of call it an insurance policy. There you have it. So I'm gonna have 2 spice packets. So it's this little kind of like cone-shaped potato starch packet. It's just this thin kind of film that we're gonna place into this handy little holder. And I'm gonna put about half of this powder in here. You wanna be really sure that your hands don't have any moisture on them, or you will stick to the paper. You're gonna fold over the top. This is something that Dr. Greger actually turned me on to. This is the exact kind of spice packet that he takes every morning. He doesn't use a mushroom powder. I'm using that because I don't eat mushrooms. I really hate mushrooms, but he takes all of those other things that I mentioned. So they're just really easy. Dip it, be sure to not get your fingers in there. So that first one was mushroom powder, but this one, you might see a little bit more of the different colors from all the spices. Dip it in. So I've got my multivitamins and then also the omega-3s. Over here, we've got some kelp, specifically kombu, because kombu is the best source of iodine. You really do not need much kombu. In fact, people generally kind of overeat kombu. I am eating kombu specifically for iodine, and this is really all you need. In fact, that might be even a little bit more than I need. I could probably rip this in half and I'd be totally fine. But this is gonna have, I don't know, maybe 500% of my daily iodine needs for the day. So I know this isn't exactly a supplement, but I treat it as a supplement. We got some organic walnuts here. Nuts and seeds are definitely something that you want to be tracking if you have some specific fitness goals, if you're trying to maintain your weight or lose weight specifically. That is 200 calories of walnuts, which is about the same as 2 apples. When you're focusing on fat loss, we want to focus on foods that have low calorie densities, such as leafy greens. So tons of volume for few calories. And then when you're working to bulk, at least I need to be focused on foods that have higher calorie densities. The main reason that I include these in my diet is because they are the healthiest nut. It also is packed with omega-3 ALA, which is another great source on top of the flax that I put into the smoothie. And that's going to help me to absorb any fat-soluble vitamins. I tend to eat the walnuts with the rest of my meal. All right, dinner time. So I should have eaten a little bit earlier today, but I had a really busy day. So we're getting a bit of a late start. It's about 6:30 right now. So I'm going to be having the same thing that I had for kind of my breakfast slash lunch, which was that rice and tofurkey dish. But I'm going to be adding some broccoli, and I'm also going to be adding some nutritional yeasts. And the way that I typically prepare broccoli, I like steaming it using actually mostly water and then a little bit of this as well, balsamic dressing. I love broccoli. It's probably my favorite veggie. It's so packed with nutrition. I'll add a little bit of water, a bit of this as well. So maybe something like 2 tablespoons, which is just 15 calories. And then we're gonna cover it. I don't like super cooked broccoli, so I'll just keep an eye on this. Generally it takes 5, 6, maybe 7 minutes. Gonna have some of the tofurkey as well. I'm just gonna reuse that parchment paper. 300 grams of rice. 310 grams of broccoli. I'm gonna put the nutritional yeast on here. 1 tablespoon of this, be something like that. Teaspoon of this. And again, that's the no sodium seasoning. So there you go, that's the final meal. Took about 10 minutes to make. Checks all the boxes for me. Time for some mango nice cream. I'm really not hungry right now, and that's part of bulking. I should have started eating earlier today. I've gone through lots of bulking and shredding periods, and admittedly, shredding is a little bit more challenging for me, especially mentally. I tend to get pretty hangry, to be honest, but bulking is also challenging. So I think the takeaway here that I would like you to have is that all fitness goals are inherently challenging because they push you to do things that you have not historically been doing. So they push you outside of your comfort zone. They're all inherently challenging. So I don't know, this is my challenge right now. Now, I was supposed to have 2 bananas earlier today, so I'm actually gonna bring those into my smoothie. So I'm making a few tweaks to my nutrition plan. for this, since I'm using bananas that are not frozen, I'm gonna put those in first. It's gonna be a little bit easier for the blades to start whipping everything up. I'm gonna weigh this out because I specifically have 350 grams that I'm going for. Soy milk, we got 2 cups. Generally, when I'm making nice cream, I'll add as much as I want in terms of frozen fruit, and then I'll add vanilla soy milk up until about that line underneath the frozen fruit. So you want the frozen fruit to be above, and that's gonna make a thicker texture. PB fits. So this just adds a really nice extra peanut buttery taste without all the calories. So let's go ahead, add this, 33 grams. And I'm also going to add some peanut butter protein powder as well. So this is going to be super peanut buttery. I'm gonna add 1 scoop. All right, well that did not blend the way I was expecting it to. It blended much better than I was expecting it to. So I guess, yeah, the bananas at the bottom really made a difference. Typically I just use frozen fruit. It's pretty much, it's just straight frozen mango. And that's what you really need to kind of help blend. But yeah, it's hard to go wrong with this, but we'll still do a taste test. Quite a bit to drink here. So we're fast approaching my bedtime, which is not ideal. I should not be consuming this much liquid heading into bed. So don't do that. But yeah, we're kind of at the end of the day, and I just need to start with my food intake earlier tomorrow and every day thereafter. So let's try it. That is delicious. That's exceptional. It's a healthy, non-dairy peanut butter milkshake. I remembered that I was supposed to start taking creatine, and I actually have not had creatine probably in at least 9 months. 5 grams, this is a 5-gram scoop. So could have just put this in my whole smoothie, but yeah, creatine is really the most comprehensively studied supplement, probably with the exception of protein powder, for helping you build muscle and strength. It's really safe. In fact, I actually talked with Dr. Greger quite a bit about creatine, and he was starting to incorporate it in his diet. So it's got a handful of potential positive benefits beyond just building muscle. And there's some science to suggest that it helps to improve your brain health and function. Been 9 months. Ready to see me turn to the Hulk instantly? It's not how it works, but it is really effective. So your body does need creatine, but it produces creatine. So the only reason to add extra is to help with some of these benefits that we just covered. I'll go on a little walk, do a little wind down, get to bed, and wake up, train, do it all again.
All right, now I want to do a nutrition breakdown for my full day of eating. I'm tracking all of my nutrition using Chronometer. All right, so for my pre-workout / workout nutrition, I'm having a protein shake and some pre-workout, and then also a banana. Breakfast is going to be staying the same. I've been using the same smoothie for a long time. I really love it. It tastes amazing, and it's also packed with nutrition. So along with breakfast, I have my supplements. I've got my Dr. Greger spice packet. I have some omega-3s. I also have a multivitamin from Garden of Life. And then I have 2 food as supplements. I have some kombu, and then I also have walnuts. So the kombu is for iodine, and the walnuts are for omega-3s. Then to keep things simple, lunch and dinner are pretty much the same thing. We've got some rice. We also have some tofurkey chicken, and we have some broccoli. And then for my dessert at the end of the day, we've got some peanut butter mango ice cream. So my calories for the day come in just under 3,500 calories with 196 grams of plant protein. So as you can see, I am purposefully maintaining a high protein intake. Now, there's been a lot of kind of misinformation and questions spread about protein intake in particular, kind of especially over the last 6 months. And I just want to clearly state that protein is required for building muscle, period, end of story. The average sedentary person only needs to be consuming about 50 grams of protein per day, but I am not sedentary. I am working hard to build muscle. I'm spending lots of time in the gym working to break down my muscle fibers, and then I need to rebuild them. And the way that you do that is with protein. I'd rather overshoot what is necessary to ensure that I'm not leaving any gains on the table. Now, this is entirely a personal preference. You do not need to consume this much protein. The main differentiators of how much protein you should be consuming are your body weight. So if your body weight is a lot lower than mine, you even more so do not need to be consuming anywhere close to the amount of protein that I'm consuming. Your total muscle mass is probably an even better indicator. And then how much you're training, how much total musculature are you training? And there are also some legitimate questions around plant protein digestibility. There are many different types of plant proteins, and we need to understand that there's a difference between the protein from corn or cereal and the protein from soy or protein powder or some other kind of higher quality protein source. One concern that I've seen pop up a lot in the last few months is concerns around IGF-1. If you want to build muscle, IGF-1 is a requirement in that process. The scientific literature pretty clearly establishes that low levels of IGF-1 can be just as problematic as high levels of IGF-1. So it's actually a U-shaped curve when it comes to the impact of IGF-1 on all-cause mortality rates. So you don't actually want to have super low levels of IGF-1, and you also ideally don't want to have super high levels of IGF-1. So I'm going to be analyzing plant protein, IGF-1, and a host of other considerations in a future video. I like to do things with a lot of detail and a lot of science. So that's been kind of slow going, but I look forward to sharing that with you when it's ready to go. All right, so when we scroll down to our nutrients, we can see that we are taking in about 70 grams of fiber. Once I start going over 75 grams of fiber on a daily basis, it starts really leading to some digestive issues. Maybe you can eat a lot more fiber than that, and that's totally fine. I've been eating a largely whole food plant-based diet for about 10 years now. So my system is pretty acclimated to consuming a lot of fiber. And if you're just getting started, just keep that in mind. So we're doing really well with omega-3s, and that's no surprise because I'm consuming some flaxseed and I'm also consuming walnuts for plant-based omega-3s. That is in the form of the omega-3 fatty acid ALA. I'm also consuming the other two omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA, through an algae supplement. So here are all of my essential amino acids. I have hit all of the necessary thresholds for ensuring that we stay on track with muscle growth. Micronutrients are just as important as macronutrients. So the main ones that I'm looking at are vitamins and minerals. If you don't have your micronutrients in check, then you can actually become super fit. You can look super fit by nailing your macros, bro, but you won't have the health side of the equation. And I firmly believe that both are incredibly important. In fact, the whole reason that I went vegan in the first place was for health reasons. So this is something that I really focus on and really prioritize. As you can see, we have consumed enough of all micronutrients. We have gotten the B12 from a supplement. Oh, there's actually a bunch of B12 in the pre-workout. And we got a bunch of other B vitamins. So I use a whole food multivitamin, which means that the multivitamin is just packed with extracts from all of these nutritious whole plant foods. So it's kind of like I'm eating a lot of different fruits and veggies that aren't in my actual nutrition plan. I'm just consuming those in a capsule form instead. So vitamin D is a nutrient that I just started supplementing with on a daily basis. I actually started that for this bulk, and I'm really excited to see how my vitamin D scores kind of pan out with my blood tests over time. So calcium is another nutrient that people think they can't really get on a vegan diet. That's not true. And we've got a bunch of calcium from kind of predominantly the soy milk, which is actually fortified, but we also have it from broccoli and spinach and mango and some other whole foods as well. The vast majority of iodine that I'm getting is from the kombu. So we got plenty of iron. Most people think that you can't get enough iron on a vegan diet. This is proof that you certainly can. In fact, if anything, I might be a little on the high side. Yeah, it would actually be interesting to see if we take off the Garden of Life. Just want to see where we end up with all the nutrients. Pretty much the only thing that I'm short on is vitamin D. And I go outside and get a daily walk in every day, and I try to do that with some sun. But yeah, vitamin D is the only nutrient that we're really falling short of without the multivitamin. So I do believe that you should strive to get all of your nutrients from your diet, so from whole foods. But if you want to include something like a whole food multivitamin, I think that's something that's perfectly okay, and it's kind of especially okay when you're traveling. Please also keep in mind that all of these nutrient values, whether it's calories, protein, calcium, iron, whatever, all of these are specific to me. I just want to make sure that's really clear. Okay, so now you've seen what a full day of eating looks like when I'm sticking to my nutrition plan, but now I want to show you what it looks like when I deviate from my nutrition plan a little bit.
So I really love using Cronometer. It is a fantastic app, and it allows me to easily go in and swap foods. You can use MyFitnessPal or really anything. My girlfriend and I decided a few hours ago that we were going to make sushi. So we went to the store, grabbed all the ingredients, and now I just went in and deleted everything that I had in for dinner, and we'll be swapping it for sushi. So we've got some delicious tofu that I just got out of the air fryer. I just put a little bit of this sweet teriyaki sauce on it, and then also put some of the Benson's Table Tasty on it. We used the super firm tofu. It's not gonna like break apart or anything, or at least not easily. Recipe, it's got a lot of whole plant foods in it, and it also can be infinitely customized. Just take a nori sheet, put it flat, put a little dollop of rice on it, and then spread it really thin. Got one piece of cucumber. Now we're gonna take the tofu. So we make little slivers. Now lastly, we'll add a little bit of carrot. And this probably also isn't the way you should do it, but this is how I do it. So I went through and calculated how much is in an entire roll. That actually came out to 580 calories with 18 grams of protein. So I'm gonna add 2 of those to finish the day at 3,488 calories and 195 grams of protein. So actually, this was the perfect meal to add to help me hit my intake for the end of the day. So Daniel has set my target at about 190 grams of protein. So 180 to 200 grams of protein a day is what I'm aiming for. And I know that's high. Most people do not need that much protein. I am training very intensely and I feel sore all the time. So anyways, that's the final result. I'm gonna have 12 pieces. So I've got my trusty Table Tasty from Benson's. We've got some low sodium soy sauce, and then we also have some of this sushi ginger, which I could honestly just eat like candy. I love this stuff. And then put a little piece of sushi ginger on it. That's really good. So what are we doing?
We're going out for dinner, which is lovely.
So yeah, it's my mom's, well, we're now 2 days after her actual birthday, but she's visiting us here, and we're taking her out to dinner. I want to just ask you, what are your tips for going out to eat? Like, how do you work that into your nutrition plan? How do you kind of think through that?
I don't go out to eat very often, which makes it easier. And when I
do that too.
Yeah, and when I do, I plan ahead, find a restaurant I like, and sometimes if my husband's going with me or a non-vegan, make sure that everybody's happy and satisfied with the meal. I even pick what I want before I even get there, just so I know. And I know what to ask to change about it as well. Last week it was no gorgonzola cheese.
Yeah, so she already touched on some of the tips that I wanted to share. So I purposefully ate earlier today in a way that was going to give me extra calories for this evening, so I could have dinner without really worrying about needing to track things precisely. It's admittedly a lot easier when you're working to build muscle and you have more calories to work with, but that's especially important when you are focusing on fat loss. Well, do you even know where we're going?
No, I have no idea.
Okay.
But that's part of the fun. So
Well, I
it's
guess
okay.
maybe I need to show you the menu or else we're not going to be able to do this.
If you're going to be happy there, I know I will find things there. So
That's
you're,
true.
You're far pickier than I.
If you're going out
About
to
the
eat
menu.
with like a vegan nutrition and fitness coach who already has things picked out, then that's a pretty good bet. You're going to
Yeah,
find something
I'm
you
not
like.
one bit worried about that. So
Yeah.
that's all good.
It's easy to find carbohydrate options when you go out to eat, and also some options that are higher in dietary fats, but it's not always as easy to find high protein sources. The place that we're going has quinoa, they have tofu, lentils, they have a bunch of options, and that is primarily why we picked the restaurant we're going to. But you can also be sure to have a bunch of other options available when you're going out. So you can bring a protein bar or protein shake or whatever.
I often have air fried tofu that is already warmed up in my purse, and I just get a salad and then I put my tofu on top. So as long as you're discreet and you don't make a big deal of it, it's a easy way to get the protein.
That's like a level 99 vegan when you bring tofu around your purse. Let's go out to eat. What do you think?
So as I was not sleeping last night, I was writing some notes on my phone for what I wanted to share about not sleeping. I would rather sleep than get my workout done. And that's because a lack of sleep really affects me. I just do not feel my best. So if I wake up and I'm not feeling like I got enough sleep and I'm just feeling kind of groggy, I know I'm not going to be totally there in my workout, getting it done. I'm not going to be able to push 100%. I'm not going to have a great day, most likely, because I didn't sleep well. Instead of going to the gym, I'll just go back to bed, get some more sleep, and then hit my workout the following day. Today was the first time that I missed a workout that I can't bump to the following day because I don't have a rest day tomorrow. So kind of main culprits for why sleep has been such a challenge for me. I've been having digestive issues. Those wake me up. I have not been having those issues historically without the added calories during the bulk. I have not really been on my normal routine because of filming. We've been doing that the last few days in this filming block. And then honestly, kind of the third one is I feel like I've been pretty stressed the past week in particular. I've kind of seen that in my heart rate variability, my HRV. And that's just been lower, and that can be a sign of increased levels of stress. And my mind has just often been racing when I'm going to bed, and that needs to change. I need to work on that, and that really comes down to my wind down routine. Part of my wind down routine, I've been actually rereading Harry Potter, the Harry Potter series, for the first time since I was a teenager, and I've actually been really enjoying that. I'm just about to finish book number 1, and then I'm going to go through the rest of the series. Meditate at the end of the day. I really have zero experience meditating. It's something that I've never really done. So working on that a little bit, trying to calm my mind down at the end of the day. Similar thing. Working on journaling. I've never done that historically, so I think that could be another thing that I can add to the mix, and just writing down all the things that are racing through my mind, declutter my kind of mental space, just have a better kind of wind down routine with maybe some kind of entertainment, take a walk, something like that. I have been doing that pretty well historically over the past few weeks. Last one was going to be cut out protein powders in my last meal and just kind of that up, I guess.
But it's a protein powder that I know that I have a lot of history with. So it's a little bit different. I said cut out protein powders in my last meal or just have ones that I feel very confident with. So that is the category I would put this into. When I was scrolling back through Chronometer, I realized, oh, I've been having this new protein powder at the end of the day for the meals for the last 3 nights, and I've been sleeping poorly for the last 3 nights. There's some correlation there, and I might not have remembered that had I not been tracking with my nutrition.
So it's Wednesday, March 27th. We're heading to get my DEXA scan done. This is going to be the second DEXA scan of this journey. So the first one was our initial check-in points, and now we're going to see how things have been going for the first 23 days. Taking our body measurements and body weights is a great way of measuring our progress, but it doesn't beat the DEXA scan. The DEXA scan will tell you exactly how much muscle you have and how much body fat you have. So I'm really looking forward to seeing these results. All right, just got my DEXA scan done, and honestly, I'm really shocked by these results. I don't quite believe it. My lean tissue mass during my last scan was 151.1 pounds. And now this is telling me that my lean mass is 160 pounds, which is an increase of just under 9 pounds of lean mass, 9 pounds of muscle in 23 days. Extremely unexpected. And if that weren't enough, my body fat percentage during my last scan, my initial scan, was 13.5% body fat. And now my body fat percentage is 12.7. So I lost 0.4 pounds of body fat, and I gained somewhere on the order of 9 pounds of lean mass, according to the scan we just got done versus my beginning scan. So I've had lots of people online claiming that I'm not natural. I'm getting all of my steroid testing done throughout this whole process. I want to get all of these results and just definitively prove that you can be super healthy and super fit on plants, and you can also get really strong and build lots of muscle as a vegan without taking any performance enhancing drugs like steroids. So I will be taking regular steroid testing through this whole journey and sharing that with all of you. And then also, if you ever happen to see me at an event or something and you want to do a little test, you're very welcome to do that. Bring a little jar, I'll pee in it if you want, and then you can do your own tests. So we can just do that. Anytime, anywhere.
How's your day going?
Good, thanks, so.
Good. Yeah. So let's dive into it. So just wanted to do a like a general check-in and share my DEXA scan results with you.
Yes, absolutely.
So here are the results that I had at the beginning. So I was 13.5% body fat and had 151.1 pounds of lean mass. That was on the 2nd of this month, and now I got my DEXA scan done on this was the 24th. My body fat percentage dropped down to 12.7%, and my lean mass has increased by about 9 pounds.
That is brilliant.
So what are your thoughts about that?
I'm actually kind of stunned. Like, that is amazing progress. It's fantastic. So I'm extremely happy to hear that. It is definitely showing that you are melding really well with the training style. Not everyone melds with every single training style, so it means that you are working very well with this. I'm fantastic to see That and the fact that your fat mass has gone down is absolutely brilliant
I dropped 0.8 pounds of body fat, and I
while
went
gaining that much muscle.
151 pounds to 160 pounds of
Jeez.
mass.
Now you have to go for testing because people are going to say this is not possible.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm just taking a bunch of shit.
Yeah. Does it say where you gained the most lean mass?
Let's look at that. So total, these were from two different companies, so I don't know
Yes.
exactly how they're saying like this was the amount of arms. So you see here it says 23.5 pounds of arms. This says 26.6. So
I'm okay with that. Like that much muscle gain is fantastic. You dropped fats 8.3 to 7.3, and you gained 2 pounds of muscle in your legs.
when I got these results, I was shocked. And as you know, DEXA scans are plus or minus 0.5%. So even though I got these from different companies, they were using the same machine, and it's
Yes.
maybe there's a little measurement error, but this is mostly going to be true.
Okay.
So
I'm really, really pleased to see this. I'm amazingly pleased to see this. How much has your weight changed over the past week?
that's actually something else that I wanted to chat about. So let me
Okay.
so here's been my weight for like the past 2 weeks, kind of. So I started on March 4th, so right here, 181.2, shot up quite a bit over the first 2 weeks plus a couple days. And that was 189.8. And I weighed myself this morning and I was 189.8 as well. So
Okay. And how is your digestion since we've all spoken and implemented a few
good.
changes?
Yeah, it's all
Okay.
good.
And able to get in your food? Okay.
Yeah,
And then
I've just been working to push my calories earlier, and that's been working well for me. So my cutoff every day is 5 p.m.
okay.
Get all my calories in by 5 p.m.
Great. And then progressing easily across all your lifts?
I've been really focusing on doing the heavier first set, and
Mhm.
that's been awesome. I think the main benefit for me is the kind of mental breakthroughs that you make. You're like, oh, okay, I have to use heavier weights, and then you realize, oh, I can easily do this heavier weight.
Cool, cool. I'm very happy to hear that. Cool, man. Then I think we can probably increase our calories. My biggest thing is just going to be digestion, excretion, and being able to get all your food in.
My number one goal is to just get as big as possible. So if we feel like more calories is the right approach, I'd rather just say, okay, it, let's figure out how to make the digestion work.
Gaining pure mass is great, but at the end, like if we can show that you got leaner while you got stronger and gain more muscle, like we exceed expectations.
Yeah, that's a good
We
point.
under promised and exceed expectations, over delivered.
Yeah, what are your I mean, I was shocked when I saw this second scan. Like, what are your yeah.
It's a big increase. It's a very big increase. I think it is possible due to the fact you weren't solidly training for a while beforehand, but you do have quite a bit of resistance training experience, so that muscle mass memory is certainly a thing. So all things point to yes, this is possible. Yes, there is a difference between the measurements, but this is a fantastic, fantastic progression. The fact that you got leaner and gained lean muscle mass is sublime.
So I have been saying a little bit like through this series on camera, I feel I feel kind of fluffier. Like I feel like I've got some extra fluff on me, but I think that's probably just due to general
Food.
bloating. Yeah, having
Yeah.
more food in my system and just kind of feeling
Yeah.
less tight.
It's just food. Trust me. Once you start eating slightly less for like a weekend, you get up Monday morning and you feel a bit tighter because everything is full out. You trust me, it works out.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, did you think that this could have, if I showed you this at the beginning, would you have like believed that this was possible?
If you train really hard, yes.
Even if you say, hey, let's bring full measurement error into this, and let's say that let's say that this scan was 0.5% low and the scan was 0.5% high.
Wow, yeah.
That's less than 2
That's
pounds.
1%. So we're well within 1% of 13.5%.
I mean, that would still be 6.5 pounds, 7
Yeah,
pounds
exactly, which is still massive.
in 3 weeks.
Jeez. Well done, man.
Well,
Brilliant.
I mean, it's a package deal, so appreciate all the help.
Of course.
The training has been really awesome. I've been loving the
Good.
training.
I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that. How's your sleep?
Good. That's one of the main things I've been focusing on, is just how do I get super solid sleep. And actually, if I look back over other periods of time where I was like my strongest and biggest, I didn't really prioritize sleep. It was like work until 10, 11, wake up at 5, go to the gym, hit the gym for an hour and a half, 2 hours, come home, eat, jump into work. So I was not optimizing my sleep, but it's hard to know exactly how much of an impact that has in terms of kind of optimizing your hormonal profile and just kind of generally helping your recovery. But I feel like that's pretty dialed in. So that's definitely helping me.
Good. Love to hear it.
All right.
Proud of you, man.
That's a
Fantastic.
check-in. Appreciate your time.
Anytime.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of my bulking journey. If you enjoyed this, then be sure to stay tuned by subscribing so you don't miss a future episode. We've got a lot of other content coming, both for nutrition education and also following my health and fitness journey. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next episode.